Annika Sorenstam ranks as one of the greatest golfers in the history of the game. With 89 international victories, including 10 major championships, her achievements put her alongside the true golfing greats. She tops the LPGA's career money list with earnings of more than $22 million and was the winner of a record 8 Player of the Year awards. When she decided to retire in 2008, it came as a surprise to many. But she's since brought up a young family and thrown herself into other projects, expanding her golf course design business and teaching. Add to that her charitable foundation and her role as vice-captain for the European Solheim Cup team later this year, and it seems the Swede still has a packed schedule. Our reporter Cara Robinson sat down with the LPGA legend at her Annika Academy in Florida.
Annika, thank you very much for joining us. We haven't sat down and had a proper chat with you before, so I just want to start back at the very beginning. You, I understand, were a talented sports girl as a child growing up, but what was it about golf? What made you choose golf for a career?
Well, you know, I tried every sport growing up, and golf was really the last thing I tried, and I don't know, there are a lot of things I like about golf. Maybe because it's extremely, tough sport. I like the fact that I can practice on my own and play to my own strength, and I don't know, it's just something about being outside all the time that made me fall in love with the game.
Well, you did a pretty good job at it. You're one of the most successful female golfers of all time. You won 90 international tournaments, 10 majors. Do you ever find yourself looking back at that time and missing it, or just recounting certain moments in your career?
You know, I don't miss the competition, but I certainly look back or think back about just my time on tour and what I've achieved. I mean, it seems at times I got to pinch myself and say, did this really happen? I mean, I remember joining the tour and thought, if I can win once, that'd be great. And, you look up to, some of the greats, Laura Davies was one of them. And I thought, wow, she's really accomplished. And you just admired what they have achieved. And, Nancy Lopez was another person that I admired. And all of a sudden you get a chance to play with them and having a chance to beat them, and it's kind of surreal at times.
As you say, you achieved so much. Is there anything, once you stepped away from the game, that you wish you had still done? Was there anything that you felt you'd left behind?
I achieved a lot, but I also, I made my mistakes along the way, and there were tournaments I didn't win, and there were things that maybe I could have done differently, but I think like anything in life, we do our best after, after you think and you make a decision, and that's just the way you learn things. It's a journey that you take. It's not always a straight road. It could be a little winding road, but that's how we learn, that's how we get better, and that's how we, grow as individuals. And like I said, I look back in my career, and it's certainly a lot more than I ever thought I could achieve.
It was at the end of 2008 that you chose to step away from playing competitive golf. Was that an easy decision to make, or was it a pretty hard one at the time?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's always hard to make a career switch. Some people might say it was a drastic career move. In my case, it was just time. My heart was telling me that, this is not what I want to do anymore, and I was starting to look around. I was more, excited about other things, different passions that I have that I wanted to pursue, and I was at the top of the mountain. I had climbed my Mount Everest, and I've been there for a while, and I've enjoyed the view for so very long, but all of a sudden I'm starting to see these different, other peaks and other mountains, and was curious what it would be like. So I said, for me to discover that, I gotta, climb down and stop doing what I'm doing and adventure out and try different things. So for that reason, it was very natural. I think the hardest part was to kind of say goodbye to a few things, and obviously change of lifestyle, all the traveling, all the training and all of that. But, I had achieved what I wanted, so I didn't feel like I had to play another event or push myself a little bit more. I mean, I pushed myself to the extreme that I knew that I couldn't be any better. I knew I was playing the best that was possible, and that made me happy.
And what about now, 4 and a bit years on? Do you still play much? Could you still compete, do you think?
You know what, I don't play much. I don't practice, and to be at the top, you have to play and you have to practice. There's only so much experience and talent will take you. So, for me to get back on tour today, I would have to practice and have to commit myself. But, I don't want to do that. I've done that, and I'm very content. I know in my heart that I've done it, and I can do it if I want it. But, after 17 years, you know, I don't need to prove it to myself or anybody else. On the contrary, I think it's nice to be able to have those wonderful memories and feel content of something and move forward.
So now you've stepped away from professional golf, competing. Anyway, how is life progressing away from the golf course of week in, week out? And tell me a bit about brand Annika.
Well, it's very different. I mean, obviously there was this a new thing for me to do. I had, you know, the last few years on tour, I started to plan a little bit for the future, and knowing that my career would eventually come to an end, and I knew also that I wasn't going to sit still. So, and I had all these other passions, and thinking about a golf school, an academy, and I have a big interest in cooking and wine, and then my, you know, my charitable aspirations and giving back to the game one way or another. So, I mean, I had all these plans. It was just about, you know, I had to map them out. That needed a little strategy, and then, you know, some people to help me, and then to execute them. So, you know, life has changed, you know, dramatically, but, you know, I'm very happy with my life. I mean, I do the things I enjoy. I feel like I'm contributing to the game. You know, I'm still involved in the game. Yeah, I might not be hitting, you know, golf shots, but, you know, I talk about golf every day pretty much. You know, I see young players play. I turn the TV, and, you know, I'm still involved. So I get my golf fix every day. So it's not like I have to look back and you know, worry about, you know, missing out. On the contrary, we have big visions with Annika brand, and, you know, I have a great team around me that help me and to make it possible, and so life is good.